All rise. Veuillez vous lever. Please be seated. Veuillez vous asseoir.
Thank you very much. Witness, welcome back. We're in open session. Mr. Nderitu, we've reviewed your request to ask questions and we've seen the questions indicated. The chamber grants you leave to ask only questions 9 and 10. Only those two questions. The rest of the questions have been covered by the prosecutor in one way or the other. Questions 9 and 10. And I believe those can be done in open session. A witness, what has happened here is Mr. Nderitu had requested, Mr. Nderitu is a lawyer for victims in the case. He requested for permission to ask you some questions, and the chamber has granted him leave to ask 2 questions. Mr. Nderitu?
I am much obliged, Mr. President, Your Honours. Just a clarification from Your Honours, whether I would then be able to ask any consequential questions to questions 9 and 10.
That naturally flow from the 2, yes.
I'm much obliged. Good afternoon, Mr. Witness.
Good afternoon.
As you are now no doubt aware, I am here representing victims that are participating in this case. And I will want to know from you whether you are aware of any Kalenjin or ODM supporters who were accidentally attacked by armed Kalenjin youth. And here I'm talking in relation to all the locations at which you mentioned there having been armed Kalenjin youth.
Your Honor, I cannot just remember one incident where an ODM supporter was accidentally harmed by the same group, but I know about the person who was shot by, I think by police or what, but he was coming, he was a supporter or is one of the group of youths who came to attack Langas.
Mr. Witness, so that we are clear, your evidence, as I understood it just now, is that the person you're aware of as having been harmed was harmed by a police officer, not by an armed Kalenjin youth. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. And just so that, again, there is clarity, might you be aware of any Kalenjin or ODM supporter who was attacked, whether accidentally or not, by the armed Kalenjin youth?
I can't remember very well, and I cannot specifically say who, but because I cannot just use this time to mention some people whom I cannot remember up to now, who are they?
Thank you, Mr. Witness. And are you aware of any properties belonging to Kalenjin or ODM supporters that were destroyed by the armed Kalenjin youth?
Your Honor, the same, I can repeat that properties were destroyed, but I cannot say that by who or by Kalenjin supporters or ODM supporters, but I cannot confirm that, Your Honor.
Mr. Witness, so that it is clear, by saying you cannot confirm that, are you saying that you are not aware?
Properties were destroyed for the ODM supporters in some places, but I cannot confirm who really destroyed them. Oh, well, in that thing I could say that.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. Mr. President, with your leave, there is a question that I would want to ask which relates to that, and that is with regard to whether there were houses that were occupied by non-Kalenjin people but owned by Kalenjins, and what happened to those.
Proceed.
I thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Witness.
Yes, Your Honor.
I would want you to confirm whether there were any houses that were occupied by non-Kalenjins that belonged to Kalenjin people in the localities that you did mention. If you're aware of any houses that belonged or were owned by Kalenjins but were occupied by non-Kalenjins.
Your Honor, still the same. I'm still saying that there is several houses which I could not know their owner, but it was also destroyed. But I cannot confirm that it was belonged to Kalenjins or any other tribes. But during my testimony, I would say that there were some houses which actually I knew it was belonged to a certain community, which is Kikuyu mainly. And also, there are some houses which are destroyed along some areas, which could be also part of the Kalenjin houses, but owned by businesses only by Kikuyus.
Mr. Witness, I do not want you to speculate. That's one. And secondly, I am not very sure that you understood my question. Let me just rephrase it. What I am asking you is, are you aware of houses that were owned by, and I will take it by step by step. Are you aware of any houses that were owned by Kalenjins but occupied by non-Kalenjins? A simple yes or no.
Question. Answer is no.
Thank you. That is all, Mr. President, Your Honors. I thank you for that, and I will be seeking leave to leave the courtroom in the next 15 minutes.
You can take the leave. But the questions about challenging or ODM supporters who were attacked, and is your interest limited to those sorts of persons being attacked by challenging youth? Or does your interest as the Victims' Council also go so far as to cover those people in that group attacked by anyone, whether or not the attackers were challenging? You follow my...
Yes, Mr. President, I do follow your line. The difficulty I have with that is that there hasn't been placed on the record as such attacks by non-Kalenjins. And I do appreciate. It's a question I really would want to ask, but...
you can ask it. The fact that it wasn't... If there was the possibility that the violence affected both sides, necessarily there will be victims of sorts of violence. If there was that possibility, and you should explore both sides, shouldn't you?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Witness, I am sure you have had the question, the issue that the Honorable President is raising, and I will put this to you in the form of a question. And would you please tell the court whether you are aware of other persons, non-Kalenjins or Kalenjins, that were harmed during the post-election violence, and if you could inform...
No. That's Kalenjins, not because the prosecutor has dealt with non-Kalenjins to an extent who were attacked. Now the point is whether there were Kalenjins who were attacked by persons who were not Kalenjins.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Kalenjins attacked by non-Kalenjins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Witness, would you tell us if you are aware of Kalenjins, persons from the Kalenjin community who were attacked by non-Kalenjins? And perhaps at the same time, if you could give evidence as to whether you're aware of persons who were supporters of the ODM who were attacked by either non-Kalenjins or non-ODM supporters.
Your Honor, to follow that angle, I cannot remember, or if there is any. I hope there is, but I cannot confirm that.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. When you say you hope there is, I believe that you're saying that you believe that there may have been. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
That is all, Mr. President, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Witness, that concludes the questions from Mr. Nteritu. Now, the lawyer for Mr. Sang, Ms. Bausman, will begin her cross-examination.
Good afternoon, witness. Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We met very briefly during a courtesy meeting organized by the VWU. My name is Caroline Duisman, and I'll be asking you some questions on behalf of Joshua Arab Sang. And just to start off with, because today we talked a lot about 2005 and 2006, I want to bring your mind back to the time around the election results. And I recall on Monday you told Mr. Garcia from the prosecution that during the period starting the 31st of December, you couldn't recall the exact date, but it was in the period immediately after the results were announced, you heard Mr. Sang say on KSFM that people should open the roads. Do you recall saying that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And more specifically, you mentioned women in general who may need to reach the hospital. Do you recall saying that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, I would like you to listen to an audio of KSFM, and that's around that period, and I would like you to tell us if you recognize Mr. Sang's voice. With your permission, Mr. President, I would like also to give a translation and transcription to the witness so that we can go through this process a bit smoother.
Proceed.
Could you- Just for you all, this is in the core binder. I believe that everyone has received a message to bring the core binder to the courtroom today. The core binder, tab number 13. This is an audio we would like to play to the witness.
Ms. Buisman, could you please confirm the ERN number for the record, please?
The ERN number is 0013-0061, and of course it starts with KEN-G11. And the transcription is 0014-0001. Can I have the floor, please?
You do have the floor.
Nagamejo som bigap kolenjin kungoliot kora nega somrani kibaitinigap Jehova kuboto kandoik kyok chebo bolotet ne noto kogendojin William Arap Ruto kole bigap kolenjin ngwitugulo mitei oyat ortinwek tugul oyat ortinwek sikobit koityi amitwogik biik chemokyingei amitwogik oyat ortinwek.
Mr. Witness, did you hear that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you recognize the voice?
Yes, Your Honor.
Could you tell us whose voice that was, please?
Yes, it is Mr. Sang's voice.
Thank you. So then I would like to play a little further of this audio, if I have the floor.
Can we please possibly put the timestamps on the record as well?
Yes, the timestamp is, we start this from 00.02.16. Sorry, that is actually the length of the audio. We are starting at the beginning of the audio. So it's 00. Moment after this first passage that we just listened to, we're at 00.28. So it's 28 seconds. Mr. Witness, just before we carry on the audio, can you look with me at the transcript? Did you find that in your what was given to you?
Yes, I can find.
So if you can just look at the first paragraph in Kalenjin. Just read it quickly, then we start again. Then I would like you to listen to it and see if it is correct, the transcription here in Kalenjin, from what you hear in the audio. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
So if we could play that first part again.
Got Kalenjin in way to go low mite, low chini to go on Cass FM. Nigo Joshua Rap sang, or legend of Togimi Gomi and Golep Nairobi. Kit kit no go mejo som pick up Kalenjin kungoliot kora nega somra ni boiti ni gap Jehova kubata gando ikyak Jehova latet ni noto kugendo jin William Arap Ruto kule pick up Kalenjin witugulo mite oyat ortenwek tugul oyat ortenwek sakabit kuitya mitwagi pik kimokin ga mitwagi oyat ortenwek sakabit kimut pik hospitali choto chogo nyor koy mutik alak tuguli mi jebioso chimeje kutebe gorik awa ko biji tunguno ligi mujigi titaje ga hospitali o ya toret kora asogabit kochi naga meje chige o ya toret asogabit kwai boishet pik chebo Red Cross kuitibik chotok cho meje go toretet ingomitwogik anan komut hospitali bik chu jotok amitwogik kora ko tuguk kimokin geji tugul nguno kumago muja mitwogik kuitchi soget kisome nguno ya tortinwek sobit kuitchi mitwogik jotok soget kunyorchige bik amitwogik mi bik chechang titindo boisionik chenguni kokekerta sang maimuch kora koityi boisionik kwak eng oret agenge komangu kole icheget kobendi kobeti boisionik kwak amu tomo koit boisiet eng kasarta nemagat kounotok meche kesom eng kaminginetabkei eng chitugul witugul mite kele oyat oret age tugul nekerat ako metochi bik chotok chetindo toretet chekameche koityi bik toretet age tugul koityi icheget kora kosom kandoikab kanisa kandoikab bolotet chotok kole kora keistoegei chemarget age tugul neimuch kongem kalyet inguni amu kigere kele kokoityi ng'emisiet komoswek chechang ako ngachangan ko kora kokoekchigei bik koekchigei ichegei eng ichegei kirotin ortinwek kiyoche bik rabinik sikobit kwo karit nekimuchi kotoret chi.
Ms. Bossman, you said you were playing the first paragraph again.
Yes, and then the whole audio was played. Mr. Witness, could you follow that, or do we have to start again?
I follow.
Yeah, you follow the entire. So we are actually going through, and then I will I'll put in the record what the English translation is. You're with us, right?
I'm with you.
Yeah. So we just carry on playing it until the end.
How long is it, and do we need to play it until the end?
It is 2 minutes and 16. 2 minutes and 16 seconds. We're almost there, Mr. President.
Read.
Ko kabijit mising sabay itong moswek kejang kugiyoto kityo nigelen onge atoret o atortinwek witugul mitei awde muwag sa kora gustoge bik ngortinwek amu chang alek kitesetai nguni komi gimnotet no mising nagogoit komutu koityi gimnotet nemutai kokonu tobotet eng sobonwek chekibeti kokounoto o atortinwek akorib kalyet eng emetab Kenya. Kongoi mising onge kunoto kanai ko Joshua Rapsa.
Mr. Witness, you could follow. I'm just going to read out now into the transcript the English translation, and please help me if there's anything that in your view is incorrect in the English, then we would like you to point that out. So the starting point of this audio is as follows. Greetings, Kalenjin people, wherever you are tuned in to KAS FM. This is Joshua Arab Sang saying we are well here in Nairobi. What I would like to appeal to our Kalenjin people is the matter that God's servant already requested, along with political leaders led by William Ruto, that all Kalenjin people, wherever you are, please open the roads. Open the roads so that food may reach those in need of it. Open the roads so that people who have experienced various problems may reach the hospitals. There are expectant mothers who need to deliver, but this is difficult for them to reach the hospital. Further, open the roads so that a traveler may go his way. Open the roads so that the Red Cross workers may reach people who are in need of humanitarian assistance, such as food or taking such people to hospital. Also, food is a basic need for everyone, but now it cannot reach the market. We appeal that you open roads so that those foods may reach the market, that people may gain access to food. There are so many people who cannot now reach their places of work. Their one major concern is that they may lose their jobs for failure to arrive in time. Therefore, we would like to appeal in all humility to everyone, everywhere, to open every road that is closed and to allow those people with assistance to reach those in need. Further, religious and political leaders have appealed that we refrain from any form of violence because we see that destruction has pervaded many areas. Worse still, people have turned one to another. Roads are closed and people are forced to pay so that a vehicle that could be of help to people may pass. So life has become extremely difficult in many areas. That is why we are saying, let us open the roads wherever you are. And also, people should move away from the roads, because so much is going on now. So much power has arrived, and it may affect people in a big way, that tomorrow may bring much sorrow in terms of lives lost. Therefore, open the roads and keep the peace in Kenya. Thank you very much. Let's do so. I am Joshua Arab Sang. Witness, do you agree, do you think this is a fair translation of what you've heard in Kalenjin?
Yes, Your Honor.
For your information, this was an audio that was a pre-recorded message that was played on the 4th of January 2008. Is this the message you have heard?
As I indicate on Monday, that I heard message Mr. Sang saying over the radio, if it was this one or any other, I heard him talking about women who are pregnant.
I would agree that it's either this one or it is a similar one.
Maybe, yes.
Thank you, witness. I would like to tender this into evidence, if I may.
Any objection?
Just in regards to the date of this recording, I understand that that date is the lead counsel for the... it's Ms. Bausman who put that in there, and not necessarily the witness agreeing to it. But that's the only comment I have on this.
Other than that, you have no objection to the document going in, to the material going in, audio and translation, transcript.
Not on the basis of what the witness has just responded, Your Honor.
Mr. Khan?
I'm grateful. No objections at all. Thank you so much.
The audio and the transcript transcript and with the translation will be admitted as next in the same defense exhibit.
Ms. Boisman, could you please provide us with the ERN number of the translation, please?
Yes. Sorry. What? It's the 4th of January 2000. Sorry, it's the key EN D11 0013 0061, and the trans.
We just need the ERN number
Okay,
of the
sorry.
translation, please.
Key EN D11 0014 0001.
That's the ERN number of the transcripts. The audio document KEN D11 0013 0061 will bear the number EVD T D11 00063. And if I understand it properly, the transcript of that audio bearing the number KEN D11 0014 0001 will bear the number EVD T D11 00064.
Yes, court officer. What happened was that the transcript comes with the translation as well, so they're in the same document. Ms. Bausman?
Just one follow-up question on this audio. Can you confirm that Joshua Arab Sang said that people should... Okay, I'll just read it out again. You tell me that this is correct. Roads are closed and people are forced to pay so that a vehicle that could be of help to people may pass. So life has become extremely difficult in many areas. Did you hear him say that?
As I said earlier, I could not stay long in the radio, but I could not confirm the entire script. But I said I had the opening roads, taking people to the hospital. Yeah, that's the message I could have. The rest, I could say, okay, if it was a follow-up talking, then I can say I didn't hear it at that particular moment.
But can you confirm that you heard during that period that Mr. Joshua Arab Sang was condemning extortion and wanted people to be able to pass to reach their destination?
As I've informed you earlier, that I just confirm what I hear, that open the road so that a woman could go to hospital, open the roads for benefit of people who are going to work. That one I could say, okay, I heard, but the other, I'm not saying, I could not be remembering the entire script, if I could hear.
What Ms. Bausman's last question was about is whether, quite apart from the radio broadcast, whether at that time, never mind the radio broadcast, whether you also heard it said, or whether you were of the view that Mr. Sang was asking people not to be extorting money from others. Did you?
I can't remember.
You cannot remember that. Okay.
Yes.
Ms. Bausman, he said he can't remember.
We'll move on. I also heard you say on the same day, Monday, that you heard Mr. Joshua Arab Sang tell people to calm down and maintain the peace. Do you recall saying that to the prosecution, Mr. Witness?
Yes, I recall.
So I would like you to listen to another audio and again tell us that if it's Mr. Sang, and then we move on from there. For the court officer, this is audio KEN-011-011-0048, and the translation is KN-D11-0011-0049. It's 1 minute and 18 seconds long, and it's at tab 10 of the core binder. And if I may ask the court, to give it to the witness, please. May I have the floor, please?
Uchamege got up Kalenjin and Witugo Ipchini to go tap Kas FM, Nigo Joshua Arab Sang, Olenjinok Kimigomye, Age Some, Kirip Kaliet, and Witugul, Kaliet and Gemetap Kenya, Gotororit Kaliet, and Rani, Agoigan, Ungetastai Girip Kaliet,
Kigurunan Moses Rono in Kas FM.
Mr. Witness, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Could you also follow it from the transcript?
Yes, Your Honor.
And for the record, we stopped at 22 seconds. And again, this was an audio that started from 0. Did you recognize the voice?
Yes, Your Honor.
Could you tell us who that was, please?
Mr. Joshua.
Thank you. May I tender this? Let's just go through it. I'm just reading in the English, and could you please follow with me and tell me if it is a correct translation? So it starts, greetings, listeners of Kalenjin, wherever you are, listening to Kas FM. This is Joshua Arab Sang, telling you we are fine, and to implore that we keep peace, everywhere peace in Kenya. May peace be promoted today and forever. Let us keep on maintaining peace. Is that a fair translation, Mr. Witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
And could you tell us, is this the message that you heard during that period?
I can still say that actually I sometimes could hear Mr. Sang saying similar message, but I don't know if it was at this particular moment. But this was actually I just put on during my time to show that sometimes you could bridge face. But otherwise, I don't know if it was this one or the others.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. For the record, it is the 1st of January of 2008, and I would like to tender this audio also as an exhibit.
Mr. Garcia.
No objection, Your Honor, but once again on the question of the date, the witness was not asked that question. It's something that is being led by Ms. Bausman.
No objection.
Mr. Khan has no objection. He says the audio and the transcript bearing its translation will be admitted as the next in the signed defense exhibits.
The audio document bearing number KEN D11 0011 0048 will bear the number EVD T D11 00065. The transcript and the translation of the audio document bearing number KEN D11 0011 0049 will bear the number EVD T D11 00066. Both documents are public.
Thank you. I would like, since you've told us that you listen to CAS quite regularly, I would like to go through this audio. There's some other voices from CAS FM personnel, and we go per each, and then we stop, and I would ask you, first of all, if the translation is correct, and if you can identify the voice.
Before you do that, witness, can you tell the court when, around the dates, when you said you heard Mr. Sang from time to time broadcasting calls for peace?
Your Honor, I cannot remember exact time, but it's early January. But during that time, also there some other messages could accompany, which could also make people to continue with the violence.
So your testimony is that it would happen, you don't remember the exact
but during
date,
that,
but it would be early January that
yes,
you will be,
during those days.
once I can, you'll be hearing broadcasts about peace, but also around the same time you would hear mixed messages from Mr. Sang that also inflamed matters. Is that your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And just for the record, to Mr. Garcia, you told us, to be more precise, that this was particularly as of the 30th, like the 31st, the 1st, the 2nd, and the 3rd. Do you recall saying that? This is at, on Monday, this was at page 68, lines 7 to 9. Is that aftermath of the violence? You confirm that?
Yes, I can confirm, Your Honor.
Thank you, witness. Then I would like to go back to this audio, and as I said, we start with at page 22 seconds. That's where we start, and it is starting for people looking at the transcripts, including yourself, Mr. Witness. We start at voice number 2.
News kisomegele kobit kalyet en emetab Kenya en nguni ak en kotugul.
Kigurena Gilbert Arap Langat asomegele ongerib kalyet ongoyamei kalyetab kamuktoindet.
Mr. Witness, can you tell us what you heard? Whose voice was that?
I heard he said its name Moses Rono, and that's I can recall that he was one of the pretenders in the KSFM. I can still remember, but it's a long time since I could know.
But did you recognize his voice?
Yeah, I can recognize him, but it's long since it's not like I could recognize for some.
And then there was a third voice. Did you recognize that voice too?
This one, I cannot remember very well, recognizing his voice.
Can I just ask you, is the person Mr. Gilbert Arap Langat, is that someone you know?
Apart from few individuals in KSFM, I don't know majority of them. But I could hear their voices, but I don't know them in persons.
Line 1 at page 107, he said Moses Rono.
That is correct, but there's been two voices. And the
I know,
first...
but, 1 second, just say at line 1, see road, where R-O-D-E appears, should be R-O-N-O. Proceed, Ms. Bosman.
Yes, I'll just read into the record what it says in English. If you have any objection to the translation, I would like to hear from you, Mr. Witness. It says, "My name is Moses Rono in KSFM News. We beseech that peace prevails in Kenya now and always." And then the voice 3. "My name is Gilbert Arap Langat. It is my appeal that we keep the peace. May the Lord's peace be sufficient for us." Is that a fair translation, Mr. Witness?
It is.
Then I would like to carry on in the audio, and we are now at 33 seconds. We start with voice number 4.
Gurno Joffrey lelmet asome biikab Kenya tugul kerib kalyet ak kerib emenyo nekiketet kenyisiek chechang.
Ane ni Winnie Ruto, kisome kalyet biikchok, kisome kalyet en emenyo.
Ane kigurno
Mr. Witness, could you hear that?
I hear.
Did you recognize the first voice you heard?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you tell us who that was, please?
Geoffrey Lelmet.
Is it someone you know?
I don't know him in person, but I could remember him, that he was in KSFM.
And what about the next voice? Did you recognize that voice?
I recognize as for Winnie, but also I could also I remember that he was also working at the KSFM. I could also know, but I don't know what is the aim of these messages.
Thank you. I'll just read that into the record again, and if there's any objection to the translation, you could let me know again. So starting at voice 4, it says, "My name is Geoffrey Lelmet. I appeal to all people of Kenya to keep the peace and to mind our nation, which we have built for many years." And then voice number 5. This is I, Winnie Ruto. We appeal for peace, countrymen. We appeal for peace in our country. Is that a fair translation, Mr. Witness?
Yes, yeah.
Then I would just like to finish off this audio. And we start with voice number 6, which is at 46 seconds.
Lagatura kwambay kimi garam Nairobi mamingala kusomok tol bikyo kibolenjin mulatolomi mata angam galia mulatolomi sinete gerip amane nyage tej mu iginisha chang sektastai emonenyo kimi gomye
Ana Maxirma alen ngotunen galiat ngenet ab Kenya.
Could you hear that, Mr. Witness?
I could hear, yes.
Could you recognize the voice number 6?
Yes, Your Honor.
Could you tell us who that is, please?
Say Mr. Kwambai.
You know any other name of Kwambai?
I don't know, because this, I could not even understand the translation, because he was talking in another sub-tribe of Kalenjin. I am not familiar about it.
Do you know which language that was, sub-tribe language?
If I'm not wrong, might be Bakot.
And did you hear the second voice in this particular part, but the 7th voice on this audio? Did you hear that one?
Yes, I hear.
Do you recognize the voice?
Yes, Your Honor.
Could you please tell us who that was, please?
Maxirma.
Someone you know from KZN?
As I have told you before, that I don't know many of the KZN, but I could recognize by voice only. But face to face, it's only few individuals.
Did you hear? Did you understand her language?
Yes,
his language.
This understand him.
Then, with that caveat that the 6th voice is something you couldn't quite hear yourself, I would like to read in the record the English translation.
Yes. Wait a minute. Witness, you said Mr. Kwambai belongs to a subgroup within, did you say Kalenjin?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you mentioned the group. Did you say Pokot?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you spell that P-O-K-O-T?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Witness, on that note, you said Pokot. Could it be Marakwet?
Yes, the two Karam have been also hearing in the Bakot and also in the Marakwet. Either of the two, either I cannot. But I've just say I cannot because there is some other sub-tribe. I cannot really.
Yeah, okay, we understood that. Just suggesting to you, it was actually Marakwet. But I'll read it into the transcript now, and then we'll move on. By name, I am Kiplagat, son of Kwambai. We are fine in Nairobi. All is well. We appeal to all our Kalenjin listeners wherever you are. Do not ruin the peace wherever you are. Instead, let us maintain peace, which we have built over many years, so that our country may develop. We are well. And then the 7th voice, I am Mark Sirma. I am saying, let peace reign in Kenya. Was that a fair translation, Mr. Witness?
Not of number 6.
Yes, number 6 I could.
Because the witness says he couldn't understand.
Fair point, Mr. President.
Yes.
Did you hear this particular appeal for peace from the staff of KAS-FM? Did you hear this during that period, Mr. Witness?
You can ask question about voice number 7. Witness,
In general, this whole audio.
Witness, did you understand voice number 7?
Yes, sir.
Mark Sirima?
I understand, Your Honor.
Right. You heard what Ms. Bausman read out, he says, I'm saying let peace reign in Kenya.
Yes.
Was that what Mr. Sirma said?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Bausman, continue.
Do you recall, Mr. Witness, whether you heard this particular message from the staff of KAS-FM appealing for peace? Did you hear that during this period?
As I've said earlier, that I heard some appealing for peace, and also, yes, some of the staff of KAS-FM I could hear, but I could not remember exact words or exact time.
Thank you. May I briefly go into private session, please?
Are you moving away from this particular
I am.
private session?
We're in open session, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Witness, I would like you to listen to another audio of KAS-FM, and this we can find at the core binder top 15. The number for the audio is KEN-DL11-0013-0057, and the translation is and transcription is KEN-DL11-0015-0068. The entire message is 1 minute and 54 seconds. And if the court reporter could please give a copy of the translation transcription to the witness. I would like to listen to this message if I have the floor.
I'm going to be Kalenjin and wait to go to Lomite, Kainenu, William Arab Kirwa, the managing director of ICC. Kamajitio, Asama, Pika, Kalenjin, and collect to Lomi, Kongatagabi, Kabatuluap, Kong, a Pika, Kabanandi, Pika, Kabagayu, Pika, Kabagis. Pika Kibatugen, Pika Kibamerquete, Asama Tugul, Ubata Pika Kibabogo, Tungotulo Lomi, Alenonge, Rip Caliet, a man being a letter Roman game, a Wasama Murnic Jog, Kimutian Galejo, as a girl at the time menu, Matuajing Union, big up Kalenjin, a Wasama got missing only Ongi Mutian Galiet, Koranga Sama Big Kibalenjin, Asame, Neganita President Mike Kibaki. Akasama kara Raila Odinga kutebungunya. Ako ngalol jin asoko jengal yetin gimoni nyo. Ngo mugak ko jeng komiti nebo biik chebunu kebeberta age tugul asoko chikil ole u ngalekab piretab kura. Asoko tog iman kemwochi biik kyok imanda. Kokotee kotestai choto biik kyok kokasom kandoichuto aeng kutebungunya kongalol jin. Asome ale ongimutyon ngalek ongetebi ko cham ketepchei. Kiketach biik chechang biikab Kalenjin kobwa emenyo. Kiketach biik chebunu komoswek chechang. Kokasome kot missing ale ongerib kalyet, ongimutyan ngalechu, ongesom ongerib amu kiba Kenya tugul ako nenyo emoni biik chok chebo Kalenjin mi biik chok alak chemi Rift Valley komi chemi Nairobi ak kemi tugul eng emoni nyo ko asome kot mising ale kote kotom kochulukis ng'alechu anan ko kechule ng'alechu ko kakesom serikali ko ongerib kalyet kongoi kot mising konyo nebo Kalenjin.
Ms. Bousman, is that the end?
It is.
But you announced the material at 0068 and 0069 as transcript and translation. We do not see a transcript. What we see is a translation that may not contain the whole thing even.
I would like to correct myself. We don't have a transcription of this message. We only have a translation. And apologies to the court for that. I would like the witness to maybe confirm if it's a fair translation and if he could recognize the voice.
We need to be careful there. I do not understand Kalenjin, but I think I heard the words Kenya and Rift Valley. Are they in the translation? Specifically, the reference to Kenya was towards the end, after the mention of Raila Odinga, why Kibaki Raila Odinga. Further down, after that, there was, I believe, another reference to Kenya, and then Rift Valley.
Mr. President, we will come back to this, in fact, because it looks like maybe there is some part missing. I'll come back to that. I'll move on at this stage.
All right.
Witness, have you heard of Reverend Jackson Koske?
Yes, Your Honor.
And can you tell us who that is?
He's a prominent Kalenjin reverend, and is a bishop of a certain church I cannot remember, and is a person. Yeah, I know him.
Do you think you would recognize his voice?
Yes, Your Honor.
So then I would like to listen to another recording, and for the record, this is the audio is D11-0013-0056, and the translation is D11-0015-0066. And unfortunately, we have no transcription. It's top 14 of the core binder.
Your Honor, as a principle, the prosecution is going to object to material being put to the witness and the witness being cross-examined without there being a transcript of the material. We think that's unfair to the witness. The proper procedure and the procedure that has been adopted for all the witnesses is that a transcript and a translation is given to the witness, so we can follow, first confirm whether the transcript is correct, and then we can look at the translation. So we object to this manner of proceeding with the witness.
There have been instances in the past when we move directly to translation and a transcript in the absence of a transcript. That's not to say it's ideal, but we can proceed. Witness, just be careful and listen carefully. If you need to have the audio repeated so you can really follow, please indicate the need for that. Okay?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Bosman?
Yes, please. The whole message is 1 minute and 29 seconds, and I think I've already given you the information. So if I could just have the floor, and yes, if we can bring it to the witness, please.
What time did you say the translation is at?
Ojomege konyo Bogolenjin ane go Reverend Koskei nega kibaitinikab Jehovah chekiboisie tugul bishops chun chekinemu somet nebo kalyet biikab Kolenjin kakenyoru tobotet neo kekas kele kakokwo boriet ipkobel kanisosiek akobel biik kakoechekitu mising bikyok ochuchuch oye otustus bikyok kokas kit nekakomwa Ruto kole kakonam kandoik chebo ng'alekab polotet kong'alale ng'alechuton akong'alalchi biik chechang kokicheng'e oret nebo ng'alechuton tugul kotoretech Jehova. Kisomok anyun bikyok oi tugul olomitei, kisomok murenik, kisomok boisiek, kisomok biik tugul oye ongeyai kalyet, ongitustus, onginyamnyum mugulelwekyok makimuchi kisuldaen neregek amakimuchi ketoret emet ak ketoretkei ngot kebeng neregek mong kotertere kit neya ako ngiterter kit neya eng nemie bikyok maameki mi Jehova kobotech kicheng oret kokokas ako kakokasak neregekab bikyok ara anyun
Mr. Witness, could you recognize the voice?
Yes, I do.
And can you confirm that he was asking to maintain the peace?
Yes, I heard, but the last sentence, like human life is sacred. I didn't hear him saying that.
Mr. President, also on this audio and translation will come back to you. We have to look at this again. I just want to say for the record, we stopped at 1 minute and 14 seconds. Mr. Witness, you've spoken about William Ruto. Would you recognize his voice?
Yes, Your Honor.
Could I go to tab 12 at the core binder? And this is KEN-D09-0024-0013. That is the translation and transcription. And the audio is D09-0024-0012. It's already an exhibit. It's exhibits 24 and 25. 24 for the audio and 25 for the translation. The total is 2 minutes and 17 seconds, but we will not play the full audio. We just play the first two paragraphs.
Proceed.
And if the witness can be shown the translation and transcription.
Ko William Arap Ruto, jumbe na mendoret no ameche ay baraini korong na tay amak chibiga pudi da polenji la biga be metat Kenya. Kenit na lel net ni gaberuret a kita tu na nie ngeni na lel na isuldoy awonyan biga gaberuret at Jehova. Am ya ngodi biga pudi da polenji na ale ni ngoyan di o emet ni ngale tay ngale ga buchakuzi che koromen kitchen ke ngalal a ko biga podiem David Kenyoru arngaleja tagen goret na bagaliet kita sa tagen ngololi apik chemi metap Kenya ap chemi emotune ke basang kangalan Gordon Brown Prime Minister nebo Olimba Britain ak Shmiwa Raila kangalal gora Shmiwa Raila ak pikte chang emotune ke terotin ke chemi ge cheng oret nebo iman negitare ngalek watastai ngalega uchaguzi amaja.
Mr. Witness, did you hear that?
Yes, Your Honor.
For the record, we stopped at 55 seconds. And it's the first two paragraphs. 2 in English and 2 in Kalenjin. Yes, did you recognize the voice?
Yes, Your Honor.
Could you please tell us who it was?
It's Honorable William Ruto.
And if you could look with me, I'm going to read the English translation into the record, and you tell me if it's a fair translation. William Arap Ruto of Eldoret North. I would like to take this opportunity to wish the Kalenjin listeners and the people of the nation of Kenya a blessed new year and every success in the new year that has God's blessings. I would like to tell our Kalenjin listeners that there is serious insecurity in the country. There are issues surrounding the elections that have been very complicated. As ODM people, we are trying to talk so that we can solve those issues in a peaceful manner. We continue to talk with the people in the nation of Kenya and those from other countries Gordon Brown, the Prime Minister of Britain, talked with Honourable Raila. Also, Honourable Raila talked with many people from different countries. We are trying to find a just solution to the issues that transpired in the elections. Is that a fair translation, Mr. Witness?
Yes, it is.
Do you recall if you heard this during that period following the announcement of the elections?
Yes, I can recall.
And the date of this message was the 3rd of January 2008. Does that correspond with your recollection?
I heard the voice, but I could not remember exact time. And at who? Black at who?
That is Bethwel Kiplagat.
Yes.
Are you aware that he made an announcement on KSFM calling for peace in that immediate aftermath following the announcement of the election?
For him, I'm sure.
What?
One last name.
Sorry, 1 second. What was the answer?
Bethwel Kiplagat.
And you say for him?
Yes, I could. I hear him talking about peace during that time.
Oh, you heard him talk about peace?
Yes, I heard him too.
Thank you.
And then one last name, and then we'll call it today. Sumbeyo. I'm spelling that. Sumbeiywo. And sorry, I also give you the other name, which is Lazaro, Lazaro. Is that someone you know?
Lazaro Sumbeyo, I know, yes.
And is this also someone who announced on the radio, made an announcement calling for peace in that immediate aftermath? Is that something you're aware of?
Yes, I'm aware.
Thank you. I leave it here for today.
Thank you very much. Ms. Bausman, I know that you did not, you put on reserve the two documents that were straight translations without transcripts, and I hope you make efforts to produce the transcripts. I note the concern raised by Mr. Garcia, fairness to the witness, and I also noted that on the occasion during his examination in chief, when the concern was raised by the defense about moving straight to translation, some issues were raised as to the ease with which different witnesses are able to work straight from audio to translation, although we ended up on that occasion having the witness listen to the video and write out what he understood of it. That was not consistent with the transcript produced by the prosecutor. It still amounted to having the witness work straight from the media, multimedia source to to give an evidence. Again, the point being, let's be sensitive to these concerns about different witnesses' abilities to do this thing directly from audio to translation, while still trying to get to the bottom of the story to the extent that we can in this process. On that note, we will adjourn for the day and reconvene tomorrow at 9:30, and we will go into closed session to excuse the witness from the courtroom. Mr. Khan, I remember you mentioned a need to address some matter. Can that wait until tomorrow? It can.
It can.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Preferably towards the end of a session, we should just let witnesses testify as much as possible and reserve procedural discussions towards ends of segments.
Indeed.
Thank you. Closed session, please.